2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Purlwise Podcast, knitting all day. Let's look at it together. Purlwise Podcast, stitch by stitch, we can make whatever. Stitch by stitch, it's made by your friend Claire.
Okay. I've put on Do Not Disturb. I'm here. I have to do this. Oh, it's been so long. And I keep trying to record and failing. Most recently because I got a haircut. But I couldn't look at myself. So I couldn't record because I couldn't look at myself without going like this, which I'm still doing because I'm like, this side kind of flat, this side perfect. I don't know. All right, so I will start. My name is Claire. I'm a knitter and a sewer. Sewer, who cares? I live in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And welcome. This is Purlwise. I'm going to talk to you about a bunch of stuff because it's been 2 months now. Long time. It's starting already. So I have a lot of finished things. And yeah, I just have missed talking about my knitting. So I hope that you enjoy. Hopefully I'll stay on topic. Hopefully it won't be too long. Yeah, so I guess I'll start with what I'm wearing, which is stacked. It's 2 finished things on top of each other. Very exciting. I'm gonna have to do a lot of editing, aren't I? Yeah, okay, I'd mentioned in my last episode that I wanted to finish both of these things, and that I didn't think I would, but I also thought I would be recording sooner, so. That's how you know it's fresh. Is it woven in? I think so, it's just not snipped. Okay, I'm starting to get warm. So, first thing on top is the Dawa slipover. Maybe I can, this is not like an ideal place to sit. Ta-da! First thing, I did finish this first. It's the Dawa slipover by Yamagara. And I knit it in Mammoth Fibre Company natural sock in the colorway Daffodil. And it's a really fun pattern. I talked about it probably previously a lot. You start with this cable panel, then you pick up and knit the front, join for the v-neck, knit all the way down, do the same for the back, and then you pick up for the sides, knit them towards each other, do a 3 needle bind off, and then you finish off with ribbing. And I did a Italian bind off on both of these, actually. One stacked on top of another. It's funny how close they're the exact same length. Both quite cropped. I think my row gauge on this was a little short. Okay, I'm still recording. Whew. My row gauge was a little short, so it's come out a bit more cropped than the designer or the original sample. I did pretty much follow the pattern exactly. I don't think I made any modifications except I when I was picking up for the sides, I picked up maybe 2 stitches less than, I think I mentioned this already in my last episode, 2 stitches less than it called for, because I had noticed my row gauge being off, and I probably could have picked up a bit less. You can see it, the kind of bubbles there, but I think it looks nice and fine. Yeah, oh my god, it's hot in this double. That was another reason I tried to record recently, and I just got too hot and I couldn't do it. And I got frazzled and I was looking at my hair, and anyways, so yeah. Here's it not on a person, because I'm too hot. So yeah, this is blowing out, but it's got really nice, I'd never done an I-cord bind off like this before. And I think it's really pretty. And yeah, I talked about this last time, but the original design is knit in lace weight with 2 strands held together everywhere except the side panels, which are supposed to be 1 strand held on its own, so they're kind of sheer, which is very pretty, and maybe I will do that someday, but I really wanted to use this woolly mammoth natural sock, which was pretty special and something I spent too much money on. Classic. This is the theme of this podcast. It's just looking at the things I spent too much money on. Yeah, so what else? It's really gonna be hard to not play with my hair. Really, really nice pattern. I really like Yamagara's designs. Would love to knit another one. Maybe I'll wear this next time, because I would like to wear this, but now I'm too hot. I do actually really like it, surprisingly, without a shirt underneath. I thought I would, I don't know, I just thought the shape wouldn't be something that I would like without anything underneath, but I like it. So yeah, that's the first thing. And we'll keep going. Second thing is the daily pullover, designed by Paula Pereira for Purl Soho, knit in Purl Soho linen quill. Ah! Oh my god. I really am sorry about this, but I just, not used to it yet. It's been like 3 weeks. See, now it looks different. No, it hasn't been 3 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since I got a haircut. I really needed it. I was feeling so bad about myself. Anyways, Purl Soho linen quill in the color Kettle Black. Ooh. That's the Italian bind off, which I did on the V-neck, on the cuffs, and on the hem. And this one I also knit to pattern exactly. Like, I didn't even mess with the length at all. Maybe I did the sleeves, I think I did the sleeves a ½ inch shorter than called for. And you can see, I mean, I'm blowing out a bit. My tummy's blowing out, but pretty cropped. There are short rows to raise the back of the neck, and you can't really see, but there are short rows at the bottom too. So sometimes I wonder about the usefulness of the back hem short rows for me, because of the way, I haven't quite figured it out what it is about my hips, but I think my hips are tilted. So I often find that things bunch up in my back, like in the small of my back. Like, anything high-waisted tends to bunch up there, and then anything that comes down low bunches up there. So I'm kind of I thought about omitting them, but I think because it's so cropped, it was good that I did it. Maybe I would have liked this to be a little bit longer, but I mean, I can always go back and fix it, I suppose. Undoing Italian bind off. I think I've done it before, but this is fingering weight. I don't know. Anyways, I'm just gonna live with it for a bit. I should have tried it on. I definitely thought about trying it on and just didn't want to. It was too much work. Yeah, so, but I'm really happy with it otherwise. It's a little bit pricklier than I was expecting. There's that end again. I swear I did weave them all in. Yeah, a bit pricklier than I was anticipating. And I think maybe the prickliness of linen quill varies between colorways, but I don't mind it. It's totally fine. So I haven't worn this out yet because I wanted to show you first, and also because it's only sort of just started to cool down enough, I think. It's very autumnal out there. I'm looking at this. There's like a maple, a red maple tree right outside my window. I have the picture. I'll put it here. And I just washed my windows, so it's feeling very, yeah, I was like, it looks fancy in here, but it's just that I washed the windows. They were so dirty. I hadn't fully washed them since I moved in May, so that's normal, right? Anyways, yeah, I'm actually even more happy with the fit of this than I thought I would be. The neck short rows looked a little funny before blocking, but they blocked out perfectly. It's just like a really nice basic. While I was doing it, I was like, not mad, but I was like, oh, why did I decide to like knit such a plain sweater in a fingering weight? Like there wasn't that much that was interesting or engaging. And now I'm really happy that I did it. But I do think that I prefer something with a little more going on. The only like sort of things going on were, I think the most complicated part was keeping track of the increases across the yoke. Because for my size, it was like an 8-row repeat of like increases at different places and the short rows. And so it was just, that was the trickiest part probably. Yeah, and it's too bad you can't really, it's hard to see the details of the sweater because of the color, but yeah, that's it. And I'm happy with it. And I'm actually not too hot, surprisingly. I had the oven on today, so I was worried that I made the house too hot. I haven't turned the heat on yet this year, but I made sticky buns to bring to my friend who just had top surgery. So that's really exciting. And I'm going to bring them those tomorrow. Yeah, so another finished object, linen quill. I finished my half and half triangles wrap, which right after I finished the daily, oh no, conveniently, here we are, there, an end. I guess I could get this one too. What side was it on? This is dangerous. No, that's not even woven in. Oops, I'm not gonna cut that. I just have my pegboard right there. I'm sitting like I moved my desk out of the way so that I could have the light. Staying on track is not going well. Okay, here is my half and half triangles wrap. And when you hold it up like this, it looks huge. Which, you know, it is. So I knit this in linen quill, the called for yarn, in the colors, super orange, which I feel like is not really translating over the camera very well. It's like more orangey. This is making it look kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but Super Orange and Stillwater Blue, which this is really funny to be dressed head to toe in. I mean, that would require linen quill pants, wouldn't it? I can't believe it's done. So I when I bought this, linen quill is not cheap, and there's often, you get charged duty getting it shipped to Canada. So I ordered 2 balls of each. I know the large size calls for 3 and the small size calls for 2, and I knew that I wanted to make it as big as possible, but to just stick within the 2 balls. And so I looked at a billion Ravelry projects and tried to figure out how many stitches to cast on, because the small size I think is 190 stitches and the large is 260. And through looking at Ravelry projects, I decided that if I cast on, I counted. I had cast on 220 stitches, and I had 4 balls of wool total. 4 balls of yarn. 2 of Super Orange, 2 of the Stillwater Blue. And I really wanted to try and use up as much as possible, and get as big a shawl as possible from those 4 skeins. So I cast on 220. And I think I measured my gauge recently, and I think that it's pretty close to what the pattern says. I can't remember how many stitches per inch it was, but I am a very loose knitter. I did this on 2.75 millimeter needles. And I used about a skein and a half of each. I think I even have, this is what was left of the Stillwater Blue. So yeah, I don't know how much. There's a part of me that wants to do it again and try and use up the full 2 skeins of each color. But yeah, not yet. Someday. But I'm really happy with it. I did block it. Not very I wet blocked it and laid it out. I didn't pin it out or anything because I wanted to make it as big as possible, because it was feeling like a little short. It was still pretty big, but you can see this is where the ends come to. And so it was a bit shorter than this before blocking, but because it's garter, it really stretched out. So yeah. This is, I haven't been a big scarf wearer in a few years. I don't know. I just went off big scarves, but I could see myself wearing this a lot because it's really cozy. So here I am, entirely in linen quill, which I'm gonna try not to buy again for a while because it's expensive, and I'm trying not to buy yarn. But yeah, I'm glad this is finally done. I started this, I remember, on the first day of class last fall, so September 6th or 7th or something, last fall of 2021. So it took me a year, but I put it down a lot, and knit on other things, because again, it is really fun to knit, but it's plain, it's just garter. So I do think I like something a bit more challenging. So yeah, that's three finished fingering weight projects. Oof, it's a lot of, after doing the Dawa and this, I was just I can't do any more fingering weight. So I just need a break from fingering weight sweaters, and also ribbing. It took me so long to get to the ribbing on this, especially on the body, because I just did so much fingering weight ribbing on this. And I was just sick of it. But this, for instance, is there's so much going on in this pattern. This is kind of, I think, the kind of pattern that I love, interesting construction and textures and some like more mindless sections, but yeah, kind of the perfect project, I think. Yeah. So there's 2. Oh no, that's 3. Here's number 4. This is the last knitted thing that I finished, which is the blooming lavender socks. Yay, they're so cute. This is another saga. I can't remember what I said last time about them, but had I finished no, I don't think I had finished the first one. I'm really happy with them in the end. They're designed by Stone Knits. And I knit them in Viola and the Moon, her sock base. And I don't remember the colors. I had bought a bunch of sock minis and then one skein of this color like a long time ago. Again, back when I was really buying a lot of yarn without thinking. Yeah, and so I'm really happy with them. So I think that all told, the first, I can't remember now, it's been a while since I finished them, so I don't remember which was the first and which was the second. But the first one, I definitely knit the colorwork chart twice because the first time I wasn't happy with it. And the second one, I had to do that again because anyways, this is so boring, but it's probably not boring to you if you're sitting here listening to me, but the way that the pattern works is she alters the size of the foot by altering needle size. So I knit the large size. So there's a chart for the small and the medium that actually has a bit more detail. Like it has sort of a little, there's more space between the lavender and there's like little dots of color in between, which is cute, but I had a feeling I'd want to knit the largest size. So I had cast on with 2mm. I did the top with 2mm needles, and then on the first sock I did the chart with 2.25mm needles. And then I think I had started doing an integrated heel when I'd last shown you, and then I ripped that back. And you have to increase for the chart. So I decreased down to 72 stitches, which the pattern itself, the largest size is 64 stitches, and then you go up a needle size if you'd like a larger sock. But I think that is kind of silly because I like to knit dense socks so that they last longer. So what I did was, after doing the chart, so I had done the integrated heel and I wasn't sure about how much yarn I had, so I ripped back. And from the chart, I decreased to 72 and then switched to 1.75mm needles, which is what I usually knit socks on because I am a loose knitter. So you can see the difference in gauge, but it's fine. I did, actually, now I remember, I feel like my heels were one heel is shorter than the other for some reason, and I don't know if that's gauge or you can barely tell, but I can tell. Anyways, it doesn't matter. God, what was I saying? Right, and then I did like heel flap and gusset with this contrast heel, contrast toe, which it ended up being a really tiny little toe, which is kind of funny to have a contrast toe that is so small. Like it just looks unusually small when it's on my foot, but it's just because I realized that I had knit the sock a little too long, and then I did sort of a shallower wedge toe, so I decreased more rapidly. I don't know if you heard that. I think it was a truck, but I thought it was B. Anyways, yeah, so that's them. And then did I say what happened with the second sock? Which was that I brought it on a trip. I went to a music festival in like northern Quebec with the band I'm in. I don't think that I've ever mentioned that I'm in a band, but I'm in a band. It was a 7.5 hour drive. I think it took us 9 hours to get there, with stops and everything. And so I knit like the whole chart on the drive. And then when I got back and compared the two socks, the second one was like a full inch. Like the gauge was just so off, even though I knit it on 2.25s like the first one. It's hard to imagine that I was relaxed on this car ride. There was like 5 of us crammed in one car, but yeah, for some reason it came out really loose. So I ripped it back and did it with 2mm needles. I don't know. So I really like this. These are my first ever colorwork socks. And I'm really like happy with the result. But it was a lot of like, I just knit the chart so many times, which is fine because it goes fast and it's fun, but it just started to make me feel crazy at a certain point, that I'd just done it so much. But yeah, I haven't worn them yet because I wanted them to be like nice and pretty before for me to show you. But yeah, I think now I'll start wearing them. I know I'd mentioned that maybe I would want to give them away, but I'm going to keep them. I'm trying to wear my hand knit socks more and more. I have like a good little collection now. I think I've got like 4 or 5, probably got 5 pairs, which is nice. Yeah, so now I can start wearing these. One thing I don't know if I've mentioned on here is that I've talked about my moth issue, which I think there's still some guys in there. I don't know. I'm doing my best. But I got a cedar chest to put like my knits in and like my wool jackets and blankets, and it's pretty big, but it's already full. And now I'm like, where's the rest of this stuff gonna go? But it has like it's really beautiful chest. Maybe I'll put a picture if I think of it. It has a little drawer in the bottom, and that's where I've been keeping my socks, which is cute. I think that cedar chest, I mean, it's not the most expensive piece of furniture I bought, but I haven't bought any furniture in a while. So it was a bit of it wasn't hugely expensive, but it was like $300 and something from somebody on Facebook Marketplace, and it just makes me feel nice to know that the moths, well, I cleaned everything before it went in there. They won't go in there. It smells really good. It smells like the forest, and it's pretty. So yeah. How far in are we? Ooh, half an hour. Okay, the last thing I want to show you, which is not sewing. I mean, it's sewing. It's not knitting, it's sewing. I will say I have sewn a good number of garments in the last little while. I feel like there's something wrong with my eye. This one? What did I do? Whatever. Okay, I've done a lot of garment sewing recently and some stuff that I'm really happy with. But I just felt like I had so much knitting to show that there probably just wouldn't be enough time, and I would get tired and it would be just too much talking. So I guess I was half wondering if I should do like a separate video about some of my sewing, like my garment sewing, if anyone's interested. Maybe you can let me know in the comments. I don't know how many of you are into that stuff. If you like, I feel like I just like to hear people talk. If that's how you are too, maybe that would be fun for you, even if you don't sew, or maybe it'd be inspiring. I don't know. Yeah, I've made some pants recently. Oh no, there's something in my eye. I made some pants that I like recently. I made a couple dresses. I'm making a jacket right now. Made a bra. I am wearing a bra, but I feel like it is falling down a lot, probably because I made it myself. Maybe I won't show you my bra in this context, maybe off my body. But anyways, yeah, if that's something that you're interested in, just let me know, and maybe that's another video I could do. So all that to say, I finished, and I showed this on my first ever podcast, I think. I'm touching my hair again. We're doing a hair touching break. What do we think? Okay, I showed this on my first episode, I believe, because I had started it. I think I started it in 2020. Is that right? Might have been like the winter of 2020, because I know I sewed the entire top. I went home for Christmas in December of 2020 and stayed, well, home to my mom's house in Ottawa, and stayed for 3 months. I just never left. Partly because there was curfew here in Montreal. We had a curfew. Really messed up. Anyways, so I sewed this quilt top at my mom's house, and then it just sat unfinished, partly because I realized I went to quilt it, and I tried to make my quilt sandwich in my old apartment, and realized that there was no part of my apartment with enough floor space to lay it out. So I had to, in fact, go back to my mom's and baste the layers together, which I think I did, God, I can't remember now, maybe last summer, like summer of 2021. And then I slowly hand quilted it together over like the course of probably a year. And then I finally finished it because I moved into my new place, and I was like, I want to put this on the couch. I had this blanket on there, and I just really wanted this instead. What's this fluff? Yeah, so it's hard to show you the whole thing. Maybe I'll put a picture. That's it. Maybe this is a picture of it on my bed, possibly. It looks really nice on my bed. It's not big enough. It's like a throw size. The pattern is called Fresh as a Daisy. And I'm not remembering who the designer is, but I will put it down below. And it's really fun. My lighting isn't the best today. It's kind of late in the day, but you can kind of see my hand stitching. Yeah, and this is the backing. This wasn't like another expensive thing that I bought. Was this, I think this is Art Gallery Fabrics. And then this, I did a different floral. This is like a green floral for the binding, and then this black floral for the back. So yeah, and I did all of this with, is it Kona cotton, that I ordered from this fabric store called Thread Count Fabrics. We're in Manitoba, not Winnipeg, but somewhere else in Manitoba. And it's hard to tell, but the flowers aren't all white. They like alternate white and like a cream color, and then right in the middle there are like 3 pink ones, but I don't think you can see. Anyways, it's just done, and I wanted to show it off, and now it lives on the couch, and Bea really likes it. She like tunnels under it. It's really cute, and it matches this. I like that I have a flower theme going. This drawing by my friend Karita, who lives in Finland, and yeah, here. I'm just very proud of it. I have made one quilt before in my lifetime, but it wasn't super well done, and it wasn't like a very complex quilt top, and it was part of like an artwork that I had made for my like graduating show when I finished my BFA in 2013, so that was a while ago. So yeah, isn't it fun? Now I want to make another one, but it did take so long. It's the kind of thing, it's just such a big project that with big projects I know that there are gonna have to be breaks. Like I'm not someone who can power through a big project, as you'll probably be able to tell from my Marit cardigan, which I'll show you momentarily. But yeah, gotta take breaks, and that's fine. Nothing needs to happen immediately. And I really like the like wrinkling that happens. Oh, you can kind of see I thought it was kind of cheesy, but you can't really see. I stitched my initials. I was just like, I gotta do it. Just did a little chain stitch. Yeah, and I do think, were I to do it again, I think that I should have quilted around maybe the yellow centers. I just did like this little X in the middle. I might go back and like tie quilt it, I think would be nice. I just feel like that little X is not doing all that it could. I don't know. Yeah. So I think one thing I hadn't realized about hand quilting was, or any quilting actually, was that you have to check your batting to find out how far apart your quilting lines need to be. And luckily I was like watching enough videos that I like came across this idea that your quilting lines there's like a minimum distance, and that is usually stated like on your batting. And this is a cotton batting, and luckily I found, like, I bought it on Etsy or something. I found the Etsy listing and it said, I think 4 inches. So that's when I got worried and put these, just because I felt like there were some stretches in these flowers where there wasn't, where there was more than 4 inches between my quilting lines. So I put this little X in the middle, but I wish I'd kind of gone over it a couple times. But anyways, whatever. It's done. Yay. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. I just sort of, once my apartment was coming together more, I really didn't have anything on the walls for a while, because I moved in and I did so much setting up and moving things around that I just got like burnt out on it. And so my mom came over once, and we like went on a camping trip together, and she, I thought I saw a squirrel, like a cat. She drove me back to Montreal, and she came in and she saw, like, I just had all of my like pictures and stuff, all my like wall art in a pile, and she spent the day helping me hang everything up, which was really nice. One of the only things I changed this. She had put something else here, but I changed it out for this drawing that I hadn't framed yet. But after we did that, I'm losing my train of thought. After we did that, I was like, wow, I would really like for this to all come together and to finally be able to get this out of storage, half finished, and onto the couch. And it's been feeling really cute in my living room since I did that. So maybe if I can find a nice picture of the living room, I'll put it here. I mean, the living room, it's literally right, that's the living room. Yeah, my apartment is like I guess I'll show you. It's messy because when I do this, I have to move everything. But this is my apartment, so you see, yeah, there's mess. But that's my kitchen. Those are the sticky buns I made. Oh, I can't even. Apartment tour. This is it. That's the sticky buns are cooling. This is my nun doll. I don't know where to put her. This is my mess. This is a Sea Monkey Castle Switch controller, Marit sleeves, bowl of candy, and my bedroom is down the hall. So the quilt goes here on the couch. And this bin, this is my coffee table. That was something else I got burnt out on. I need a coffee table. But for now, the bin is really useful, and it is full of fabric scraps. So double use here. Yeah, so that's my little apartment. I mean, it's not even that little, actually. It's quite a good amount of space for me. Yeah, impromptu apartment tour. Yeah, this table that I have here, it's kind of weirdly, okay, there's more mess over there. That's my kitchen table. This is my bookshelf, which needs some work. But this table, the previous tenant left behind. She had it on the balcony, but it's not an outdoor table. I kept trying to get rid of it, and then I put it here, and it's just the perfect place. This has, well, right now it's got everything that was in the way, but usually it just has whatever I'm sewing. I just put like all the pattern pieces and the cutout pieces here. And it's kind of weirdly in the middle of my apartment, but and now I don't know how I would function without it. So I keep trying to get rid of it and failing. This is Bee's. Really cute. It's a like little octopus made of fur. Anyways, generally I would tidy up a bit if I was going to show you that, but it's happened, so there you go. Maybe someday I'll tidy up and give you a nicer tour if you want. Yeah, so maybe because I mentioned it, I'll just briefly talk about the Marit. So yeah, the sleeves are here. As I've mentioned, I've been having a lot of trouble with this, but I'm persevering. One of the issues is that the sleeves are, I'm fairly certain, too short. Like, I think one of the issues is that I have to figure out, this cardigan is drop shoulder. So I have to figure out what the final width is going to be so that I can find out how low the drop will be. Because if the drop is here, if the drop goes to here, which it very well could, it is supposed to, I think for the size I've picked, the bust circumference, or the circumference of the whole tube of the sweater, is supposed to be 53.75 inches, if I'm remembering correctly, which I think I am because I've been thinking about it obsessively. So if that is the case, yeah, I just have to kind of determine where that will fall, because I think even if it falls like down here, which I don't think it'll even be that long, this is going to be short. Or, I mean, this is maybe the perfect length, but I just don't know if that's going to... Yeah. I'm also thinking of adding... The cardigan is steeked up the middle, and I think I'm going to add armhole steeks, and that is going to require some math and some figuring out, like, if I make this longer, am I also going to make it a bit wider? Because it is a bit of a tight sleeve. So I have to figure that out. So in order to start figuring that out, I had picked this back up recently because I kind of had to isolate for a weekend. I'd had maybe a COVID exposure. So I was home by myself, and I did a big chunk of knitting on the body. And I was thinking about all this math I needed to do to figure it out. And so I thought to myself, okay, I will take it off the needles. I put it on like embroidery floss. Just because it's less sticky, and I thought it would be better. I put it on embroidery floss, and I measured it, and it was way too big. And I kind of knew that my gauge had loosened up. I knit the sleeves. The cardigan is, in the pattern, it calls for 3mm needles, which usually, in most patterns, I go down a full millimeter. So that would put me at 2mm, which seemed crazy. But usually my color work is a bit tighter, so I go back up a little bit. So usually I go down a full millimeter and then up a size. And that's what I did for the sleeves, and that was perfect. I got gauge with 2.25mm, which is going down a millimeter and then up a size to 2.25. But these were a small circumference, and more I'm noticing that my small circumference knitting is often tighter. So this is the blocked sleeve, unblocked sleeve. And the unblocked is a bit shorter, but I think that it will gain a bit of length when I block it. Part of this project is that I have to let go of a little bit of perfectionism. Very hard for me. So it was way too big. I had to basically rip out everything. I didn't have to rip out the whole body, but because I think when I'd started it, I think I was knitting. I've noticed that as a recurring thing too. When I start doing something, I am more unsure, so I'm knitting more tightly. So this is what I have of the body now. So initially I had almost a completed, like, the whole motif. And then I did, like, I think a whole other motif almost. Ooh. Where I'd done like half of another of the chart, like chart repeat. And I ended up, after I took it off the needles, I steam blocked it. And I realized it was going to be way too big. I think it was measuring in at around like over 58 inches, which in another style of sweater I think I would like. But the boxiness of this one made me want to not have that much ease. There was part of me that was like, it'll be fine. It's like it'll be an oversized sweater. You like oversized sweaters. But I think a boxy, oversized cardigan, I was just thinking about the way it would hang and the fact that I'd like wear it open often too. Like I just felt like it was going to be too baggy and like flappy, and I wanted it if I do get the 53.75 inch circumference that the pattern says I will get, that's about just a little under 5 inches of ease for me, which I think would be more appropriate for how I want this to look. So yeah, this is why I keep losing steam on this, because there's a lot of thinking to do. So yeah, I ripped back, not all the way. I ripped back to about here. I like measured the gauge. Yeah, I think I started again here. So I've done all this since I ripped back. So this you can kind of see was steam blocked, and this is looking a little funky because I'm knitting it with the yarn that I'd previously steam blocked, which I'm not sure it's a great idea, but I think it'll be fine. I think it will even out. Yeah. Anyway, all that to say, part of the reason I picked it back up and did so much on it before I realized the gauge was off was that I was like, I really want more cardigans. I feel like I'm often getting dressed and putting stuff on and being like, I wish I had a cardigan to go with this. So I was like, oh, I'll just finish this cardigan. I'll just do this. But it's really taking me a long time. So I tried to like power through too much, and I was not allowing myself to think about how the gauge looked much bigger. Which now, like, here's the unblocked sleeve. I think it looks very similar. Oh no, I'm like trying to do this mirrored and not drop any stitches. I'm fumbling. Anyways, I think it looks, oh my god. I think it looks right. Yeah. I might even like steam block this while it's on the needles just to make sure it's okay. Oh, I'm so afraid now. But yeah, I think it looks closer to the sleeves, which are the correct gauge. So it means that, oh my god, I'm dropping stitches. I'm now knitting this on 2mm needles. And I keep trying not to think about how that's like knitting a full body sock. It was like a sweater size sock. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because when I look at the other projects on Ravelry, I'm like, nobody else's looks this tiny, but this is what the gauge is supposed to be. So I'm just, whatever. I'm getting too in my head about this. I do now have a vague goal. I would like to be able to finish this for January, and I think that that's doable. Oh, that's my floats, by the way. Oh, I remember, I think I talked about this recently, or like on one of my last episodes, and I talked about how I was weaving in my ends as I go. And then I was watching, I actually got really obsessed with this one video by Mel Makes Stuff, where she talks about steeking her, I think it's the chestnut cardigan by Marie Wallen. And I was like, oh, I don't have to weave in those ends. Like I'm cutting this anyways. So now my ends are all just here and they're all like kinky because they were steam blocked. But, God, what was I saying? Yeah, I kind of vaguely want to finish this for January. We'll see. It's just like yeah, I think I'd like to. I think now that I'm kind of going on it, it'll go a bit quicker. I just have to stop getting intimidated by it, and I need to figure out where I want to start that armhole steek, which I can't think about right now. I just can't think about it right now. But sometimes I think I can figure that out. And the reason I want to do the steek is that, and I'm sorry, I've talked about this many times, but the way that the sleeve attaches in the pattern, you're supposed to knit this facing in the main color, and then just cut, there's no steek, you just cut into the tube of the sweater, and the facing gets sewn to cover up those raw edges, and I just think it looks pretty bulky on a lot of the other ones I've seen on Ravelry, so I don't want to do that. So I am planning to add an armhole steek and then pick up stitches around that steek once I've secured it in some way that I haven't decided yet, but I'm thinking of doing what Mel did in that video, which I will link down below because it's really good. I watched this video of her talking through making the chestnut cardigan and steeking it, and I loved it so much that when my friend KP came over, I was like, you gotta see this. And we sat and we watched, I have a projector, and we like projected the steeking video and watched it together, and we were both like completely enthralled, and it was so fun. So anyways, really good video. I wish that there were more knitting videos like that. Like I really like the complexity of that project, and how she goes through it step by step, and her like thought process, and she also has to do some like problem solving. I think it's really fun, and maybe there's a world in which I could try and make a video like that about this Marit cardigan, and then you wouldn't have to hear me talk about it every time. I was like, oh, you shouldn't talk about that too much today. And now I've just talked about it a lot. And it's been an hour that I've been talking. So anyways, I think I didn't finish the thought that I had, which is that I wanted to secure the steek, like probably with the kind of stitch that she uses in that video. Pick up stitches around that hole, and then Kitchener stitch my sleeves to the sweater. That is my current plan. We will see. I'm trying not to cast on too many things so that I can kind of focus on this. But then I did cast on something, which I will show you now. Where I'm running out of places to put things. My sister gave me this sea monkey castle, and the sea monkeys, but I haven't done it yet, but usually it sits here. But I should really make the sea monkeys. I just kept going away and I was like, I don't want the sea monkeys to die. Also the Marit, I've been keeping it in this bag that I really like, that I made. I think I bought like a half yard of this rabbit fabric. I think it was like cotton and steel or something. Anyways, I was probably trying to get free shipping at some point. And then I made it into this bag pattern, which I've shown before, because my friend Izzo had made me a couple of them. It's by Can Do Crafts, I think. I'll link that below, but it's just a drawstring, has a little handle. I just think it's cute. So it's been living in there. So this new cast on. So yeah, my only two like active works in progress are the Marit and this new cast on. Yeah. I was gonna maybe talk about something else, but it's just a ball of yarn. It's not anything yet. So I have had this sweater quantity of Briggs and Little Regal for years now. When did I get it? Maybe, I think I got it that same winter at my mom's house. A dark time. I mean, it was very nice of my mom to have me, but that was a bad time in my life, the lives of many other people. Like December 2020 to March 2021. An evil time. Like the entirety of that time, there was a curfew in Montreal. Anyways, Briggs and Little Regal. I bought it with the intention of knitting the Willa cardigan by Sari Nordlund. And I did start it. And I don't have it out to show you, but I had knit one sleeve and I think about like maybe 6 or 8 inches of the body. And I don't know why I thought that that's what I wanted. It's not really my style. I don't know. I just thought I wanted it, and then I was like, no, I don't. So I've had this sweater quantity for a while, and it was a moth. They were victims of moths. Like when I found the moths, they were loving the Briggs and Little. Although because it's such a thick yarn, I haven't found many breaks in it. It was just that I had to like really clean it out. And I gave it a really good, I mean, it was frozen and it's been in a vacuum bag for like over a year, and no, not over a year. It was frozen for like probably a month in the winter outside, and then vacuum sealed for many months. So there's no way that anything in here is alive. It's totally safe, but one unfortunate thing that happens is that you have to get all the little eggs out. So I did that the other day. I took the skeins out and gave them a huge shake, because the knitted fabric that I had, I could vacuum, but these Just gotta shake them. So anyways, that's life. I'm sorry if you think it's gross, but this is why you don't keep your yarn out. You just shouldn't. Put it away, seal it up. I hate them so much. Anyways, so I haven't frogged that cardigan yet, but I will eventually if I need to. I have one other skein here. I have a full, I've knit a fair bit of this cake, but, and I had a half of a ball that had been attached to the old cardigan, so. Anyway, the color is called Fundy Fog. Briggs and Little, if you don't know it, is it's a Canadian yarn from New Brunswick, which is where I used to live. I lived in Sackville, New Brunswick. I went to Mount Allison University. And I think it's all Canadian wool. Very rustic. A lot of people find it pretty scratchy. It does soften up after blocking. Oh, wait. I have my swatch, but it's under you. This is really silly. Whoa. This is what happens when you... Okay, this was my swatch actually from the Willa cardigan. In like a double moss, double seed, who knows. And this was my swatch this time around. So you can see if I show you this fabric, it's really hard to tell, but it's got more drape after blocking than it appears to in this form. So anyways, it does soften. I would not have any trouble with it next to skin, but it's a cardigan anyway, so yeah, it's interesting. I'm a sensitive person in a lot of ways, like sensory wise, but I think because I like wool and yarn so much, like the itchiness just doesn't bother me. Like I feel that it's like maybe a bit itchy, but I just don't mind. It's like a nice feeling. It's like I was talking to my friend Etta recently about she really hates spicy food, or she just like can't even eat it, and she was like, but it hurts your mouth. And I was like, yeah, I know. That's why it's nice. I like it. And it's kind of like that. It's a spicy item of clothing. No, that's not really right at all. But, well, I don't know. Anyways. Oh boy. What I'm knitting is, looks like not much. So, I mean, it looks fine. It's just the beginnings of something. So I'm knitting the Bonnie cardigan by Orlan Souk. Orlan Souk, who I've knitted. She's one of my favorite designers. I've knitted her Udo pullover and the Azor pullover. I've also knitted a shawl by her called the Hollis shawl, which I made like a little kerchief version that didn't do it justice. That was a while ago. I wonder if that's all of the patterns that I've knitted by her. So maybe I'll put a picture here of the Bonnie. It's kind of like a bomber jacket inspired, and I just think that I was complaining about about doing things that were too plain, but I think this will go a bit faster. It is mostly stockinette, but there are some really nice details, like the collar. There's short rows in the ribbing of the collar. What else is there? There's a nice little like braid around the cuff. And there's this cute little split at the back of the hem. So I think the sample I find weirdly long. Like I don't know why, especially if it's like bomber jacket inspired. to me, a bomber is like a pretty cropped, jacket. So I definitely think mine's going to be more cropped than the original sample, which is like kind of a full length cardigan. Yeah. So this is a worsted weight. I haven't knit a worsted weight sweater in a pretty long time. I guess some of the knitted sweaters I've made would be considered something around a worsted weight gauge, but yeah, it's been a while. Part of the issue was I've been trying really hard. I have 2 sweater quantities of knitted and I just don't know what to do with them. And I've been kind of like trying to force them to work for something, and I just, you know what I mean? Like I keep desperately trying to find something to do with these because I'm like, oh, I want to get them out of stash and like free up some room, and I just couldn't make up my mind at all about what to do with them. I think I made this swatch with the 2 colors together. Oh, it's really hard to tell in this light, but this is 2 different colorways of knitted and held together in a brioche stitch, and it's really, the lighting is not really helping to show you this, but it's like Medvind and this dark green color, I can't remember, that I got last year. Anyways, I do think this is nice, but I just couldn't make up my mind. So all of a sudden I was like, well, why don't I just make like a basic cardigan? I think I would wear a lot. And I have this yarn, and maybe now it's not the first color I would pick to wear. I don't think it looks terrible on me, but it's just not a color I wear a lot. But I was like, I have it. I like the color. And so I will do it. I think the reason that I bought this color partly was because it's called Fundy Fog. And where I used to live, Sackville's right on the Bay of Fundy. And I just like the name. But it's really beautiful. It's like kind of hard to see. There's a lot of like colors mixed in. There's like a little blue and red, and yeah. It's really fun to knit with. I do find it's not the easiest to knit with, I will say. It's fun in that you get to see the colors, and there's a lot of like vegetable matter in it, but no moths. It is a little bit trickier to knit. It's just because it's so rough. I just find it like gets bunched on the needles, and I have trouble like moving it along. Maybe if I was knitting something in the round, it'd be easier. I don't know. I'm starting to get a headache from talking too much. It's like going to my jaw. Yeah, but I think this is the last thing I had to show you anyways, since I'm not going to talk about sewing. Now that it's in my hands, I'm trying to knit it. I'll stop for now. How many minutes are we at here? Oh, 1 hour and 9 minutes. I think I just had one last thing to show you, which was, I don't usually show the yarn that I've bought, but partly it's because I haven't really been buying any yarn. I think I bought 1 sweater quantity this summer that I kind of have plans for, but again, they're plans that require thinking, just because I wanted to sort of come up with my own sweater pattern, because I wasn't finding exactly what I wanted. But the reason I haven't started that is the thinking involved, and also the fact that I need a break from fingering weight sweaters, which of course the Murit, I'm not going to get a break from it for a while, but this is why I cast on the Bonnie. And it went pretty fast. I just cast this on last week, which is kind of nice to go speedily through something. I know there are people who would get this done even faster than me, but I'm trying to split my attention between the 2 things. And they're really the only 2 things I'm working on right now. Well, I mean, I just finished the half and half, like, yesterday? No, I finished it on Sunday. today is Tuesday. And I blocked it yesterday. Anyways, last thing I wanted to show you was this sock set, which is some self-striping yarn from Tiny Human Knits, also in New Brunswick. And it's the colorway Jolene. And I'm really excited to knit this. I'm very excited to cast on. I think it's Laura. Her name's Laura. She has really fun self-striping colorways. I've never knitted with self-striping sock yarn before. And I like this one. It's kind of like 70s colors. But I was showing her new colorways to my knitting friends, KP and Rudy. And I kind of like had an inkling of which ones they would each like. And so I ended up getting us the 3 colorways, and but I gave them to them already. I was going to hold on to them and show you in the video, but I was too excited to give them their sock yarn. So we each got, I was like, it's so convenient that she made each of us a colorway. It's very cute. So I think they were just texting me earlier about us all we're trying to decide whether to knit just a plain sock or some kind of patterned self-striping sock, which I've seen a couple, we found a couple good ones. So yeah, I'm excited to do that. But I was really excited to cake it up, but I also the skeins are so pretty. I really like the contrast in this one too. Maybe I'll show you. This is Rudy's color, and which I think was called Double Trouble or something spooky. And this is KP's color, called Dusk, I think. Yeah, so soon we will all have coordinating Tiny Human Knit socks. Who also, I really love her podcast, and she does a lot of really nice quilting as well. So yeah, something else fun to watch. Anyways, I'll probably leave it there because I've been talking for 1 hour and 15 minutes. I really hope the sound is okay. It's starting to get dark. In theory, I have class tonight, but I think that what, in fact, I'm doing tonight is sitting in my apartment waiting to see if I have COVID. So, yeah, fun activity that I really like to do after going to music festivals, which, I made my choices, and I live with them. I've actually never had COVID, and if I have it now, that would be, it wouldn't be fine, but I just am amazed that I've made it this far without getting it. Maybe it just doesn't, my body says no or something. I don't know. Partly I did have to go to that music festival last week because we played, the band that I am in played, and then I just went to see basically other friends' bands. But I wore my mask, and we'll see. Yeah, so I'm gonna go to class. And now I am fully rambling. So, thank you for being here. That was a lot of stuff, I feel like. A lot of me talking. Hopefully interesting to you. I will try and record not 2 months from now again. But I obviously make no promises. I'm really trying hard to focus on school, which is hard when I keep having to miss it. But, yeah, I'm trying to focus on school, and sometimes it's a lot to, do the brain work required to, feel focused enough to do this. Yeah, so let me know what you're knitting. I really like to hear what people are working on. And also let me know if you're interested in a garment sewing video. I think I'll be especially excited to do that after I finish this jacket I'm working on. I'm looking at it because it's right there. It's sitting at the kitchen table on one of the chairs. It's a mess in here. That is one thing I like about living alone, though, is that there are a lot of things I like, but I can absolutely destroy it and not feel like I'm making somebody else's living space stressful. I'm just making my own living space stressful. So yes, tell me if you'd like to see a video about some garment sewing. Tell me what you're knitting. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I know like the numbers don't matter, and I'm like not doing this with any sort of like goal in mind or anything. Like at this point I'm like, it's just fun. I love talking about knitting. I love reading your comments. I love talking to you and hearing what you think of my projects, and I just really love talking about knitting, and that's why I do this. But it is kind of, I feel like maybe I'll have 1,500 followers soon. I'm like 40 away from 1,500, so maybe I could do something. I don't know if I would ever do a giveaway or something. I don't know, but maybe there could be something special. I can't think of anything. Maybe I'll do a giveaway. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I feel like a pattern giveaway might be nice. I'd be down to do that. So maybe we'll talk about that in the next knitting related video. But yeah, thank you for being here. I don't know where B is. And part of me, when I can't find B when I'm doing this, I'm like, what am I gonna put in that 40-second theme song at the beginning? Maybe I have a video on my phone or something. Maybe I can like compile some videos from my phone. I don't know. I need B. Anyways, she's not having it. But maybe she's mad at me today. All right, well, I think that's it for now. Thank you for sticking around if you watched this whole video. I hope that I remember to put in all the pictures I said I would. And I hope you're having a lovely autumn or spring, depending where you are in the world. And hopefully... No cat. I will talk to you soon. Bye.